The Princess of Wales is widely acknowledged for her exceptional abilities and unwavering commitment, whether confidently fulfilling her royal duties or advocating passionately for children's charities. Last May 6th, Princess Catherine, who once met a prince as an ordinary girl, ascended to her position as our future queen and the mother of a future king. Kim Sullivan, Catherine's second cousin, said, "Prince William is a lucky man because Catherine comes from a family of strong women. Hopefully, the country will benefit from her strength of character in the years to come." Catherine's family history is marked by formidable women on both sides of her ancestry. Hers is a story that includes accounts of poverty and adversity in the coalfields of Durham and working-class neighborhoods in London, as well as stories of privilege and connections to high society. Yet the common thread throughout is that of solid and maternal figures. Based on the book Kate, The Making of a Princess by Claudia Joseph, let's get a glimpse of these women who have been the backbone of Catherine's family and have undoubtedly played a crucial role in shaping the person she is today. Olive Lupton Middleton, her paternal great-grandmother. One of Catherine's ancestors, Olive, was part of the Middleton family and was a society beauty during the Edwardian era. She was the daughter of a wealthy wool merchant from Yorkshire and passed on her good looks and fortune to her descendants. This inheritance has been passed down through generations of the Middleton family, contradicting the notion that Catherine's parents earned their wealth entirely. Olive, born in 1881, was the eldest among 5 siblings and was always meant to live a privileged life. She attended Roedean, a prestigious girls' boarding school on the East Sussex coast of Brighton, after her mother passed away from influenza when Olive was just 10 years old. She had a very distinguished family lineage. Olive was a descendant of Sir Thomas Fairfax, a general in the English Civil War, which makes Catherine distantly related as a 17th cousin to Prince William. Moreover, she was frequently invited to the most exclusive homes in Yorkshire due to her impeccable connections. Additionally, through marriage, Olive connected to famous figures such as Beatrix Potter and Arthur Ransom, the gentleman spy and author of the children's classic Swallows and Amazons. She was also the second cousin of Doris MacLachlan, the grandmother of Guy Ritchie, a renowned film director. Olive assumed the role of the head of the household and had to delay getting married until her siblings grew up. She eventually married solicitor Noel Middleton, Catherine's great-grandfather, on the eve of World War I when she was 32 years old and he was 35. The couple looked stunning together, but their early years of marriage were filled with sorrow. All 3 of Olive's younger brothers were killed in the Great War, causing great anguish to the Lupton family. Olive's father, Francis, passed away in 1921, bequeathing a fortune of £70,538, equivalent to £9.8 million in today's money, to his 2 daughters and their descendants. Olive became a wealthy woman as a result of this inheritance. Despite losing her brothers, Olive considered herself lucky because she was rich, and her husband also returned safely from the war. Her cousin Hugo was the only male member of her family to survive the war, and he later married the sister of Arthur Ransom, Joyce. Noel Middleton joined the family business, William Lupton and Company, after the war. He and Olive had 4 children, including Catherine's grandfather Peter, and settled in Far Headingley, an affluent suburb of Leeds. Olive was known for her gentle and kind nature and ensured that their home, Fairfield, was filled with laughter and joy for the children. They shared a governess with Olive's second cousin, Frances. Noel was an accomplished painter and served as the chairman of the Northern Philharmonia Orchestra. Catherine's grandfather Peter, who lived until 2010, was then the last living relative of Olive Lupton and remembered his mother as an adequate pianist and a talented painter of watercolors. He fondly recalled her playing the piano in his father's home orchestra, with his father playing first fiddle, his sister Margaret second fiddle, his brother Tony on viola, Christopher on double bass, and himself on the cello. The family enjoyed spending time outdoors when they weren't involved with music. They took summer camping trips to the Lake District and walked in the Yorkshire Dales, where they had a holiday home in Kettlewell. Catherine's grandfather recalled his mother's excellent picnic-making skills for these outings. In addition to the Kettlewell cottage, they had a camping hut in the Lake District, where they learned self-sufficiency skills. Olive was adept at cooking for groups of up to 10 youngsters on 2 Primus stoves and getting water from a stream during summer holidays in primitive conditions. Tragically, Olive was taken to the hospital with peritonitis after a burst appendix during a family trip to the Lake District in 1936, and she passed away at 55. She left behind 52,031 pounds for her children, which would be equivalent to 9.6 million pounds today. Peter served as an RAF pilot in the Second World War and later married Valerie Glassborough, a banker's daughter, and their son Michael, Catherine's father. Michael was born in 1949. The maternal side of the family, Edith Goldsmith, Catherine's great-grandmother. Catherine's maternal side faced numerous challenges, but the women in her family were tough and resourceful enough to overcome them. Edith Goldsmith, Catherine's great-grandmother, was a no-nonsense woman who smoked 20 cigarettes a day and raised 6 children in Southall, a working-class suburb in West London. After her husband passed away in 1938, Edith was left to bring up her 2 youngest children, Joyce and Ronald, Catherine's grandfathers. They lived in a rundown flat, and Edith worked at a nearby jam factory to support them. Her older daughters, Alice and Ede, looked after their younger siblings while she was working. Alice, who lived to be 107 before passing away in 2019, remembered how tough her mother had to be to make ends meet. She had a temper and would throw her shoes at her children if they misbehaved, but she fiercely protected them and wouldn't tolerate anyone who tried to hurt them. Alice, who married in 1929 to a haulage driver named Bill, knew firsthand how hard it was for her mother to provide for the family. "She had to work hard to bring us all up," Alice said. "She wasn't a bad lady, but she had a temper. You only had to say one word and she would take her shoes off and throw them at you." Despite being born into poverty, Edith raised her children to be resourceful and determined. Catherine's grandfather Ronald, like his siblings, left school at 14 and later started his building firm. Now let's look into the life of Dorothy Harrison Goldsmith, Catherine's maternal grandmother. At 22, Ronald married Dorothy Harrison, an 18-year-old shop assistant at the Parish Church of Holy Trinity in Southall. Their wedding reception was modestly held at a local pub, the Harborough Tavern. Despite Dorothy's pride in her appearance, she and Ronald were financially struggling, and she had to borrow her going-away outfit from Ronald's sister, Joyce. They returned after their honeymoon to Edith's flat, where Catherine's mother, Carol, was born in 1955. Nevertheless, Dorothy had high ambitions. She was the daughter of a carpenter who moved his family to London from the Durham coalfields during the 1930s. According to Pat, Alice's daughter, Dorothy's aspirations were known throughout the family. "After she and Ronald got married, they lived with Edith until my dad helped them get a deposit for their first home," she said. Dorothy had the biggest Silver Cross pram you've ever seen after Carol was born. However, Dorothy's constant desire for more money and a better lifestyle led to Edith grumbling about her. She thought that Dorothy henpecked Ronald and that she always wanted to be the top brick in the chimney. According to Ann Terry, Ronald's niece, the whole family thought Dorothy was a snob who tried to better herself. She was even referred to as Lady Dorothy by her family. On the other hand, Ronald was a quiet man who worshipped Dorothy and would do anything she wanted. Ann Terry recalls seeing Dorothy walk into a newly decorated room and say that she didn't like it, and Ronald would immediately strip off the wallpaper and start again. Dorothy always wanted more and always wanted better. Ronald and Dorothy were determined to climb the social ladder and succeeded remarkably. They capitalized on the booming property market, and by 1966, they had moved into their first home on Kingsbridge Road in Norwood Green, in an incredible end of Southall. Their daughter Carol's wedding to Michael Middleton in 1980 was very different from Dorothy's humble nuptials in the local pub. Carol's big day was a grand affair with a stunning dress, 4 beautiful bridesmaids, and a horse and carriage. The reception was held at a local manor house, making it an unforgettable event. But what was perhaps most surprising was that Lady Dorothy, who lived until 2006, couldn't have anticipated that her granddaughter Catherine would eventually marry a prince and become a part of the royal family. What are your thoughts? Join the conversation and please subscribe to Modest Narratives for more royal videos.